You were told that reality is solid, that the world is outside you, unshakable, independent. But here is the truth Thoth whispered into the temples of stone. You are not living in the world. You are living inside your own mind. And this is the secret no one wanted you to remember. The shocking revelation that your so-called reality is not fixed, not neutral, not random. It is a mirror lattice, an invisible web of frequencies that bends and reorganizes itself according to the vibration you sustain. For centuries, the initiates guarded this wisdom, and only the prepared could enter the mystery schools. But today, fragments of this truth are breaking into modern science. Neuroscience proves that thought reshapes the brain. Heart math proves that emotion radiates coherence into the field. Quantum physics proves that observation itself collapses matter. Different languages, same principle. Reality obeys the signal you emit, not the effort you force. And that is why some people stay trapped in repeating loops of scarcity, fear, and suffering, while others rise into synchronicity, expansion, and transformation. Not because the universe favors one and abandons another, but because the field is lawfully precise. It returns exactly what you vibrate, nothing more, nothing less. Stay until the end of this transmission, because you will receive the same ritual that was once hidden in the ancient temples, a 3-minute code capable of shifting you from being a receiver of life to being its conscious transmitter. But it only activates if you grasp the forgotten mechanism that links thought, emotion, and field. So breathe, focus, and open yourself. Because what you are about to hear will not just inform you, it will reorganize you. I am not living in the world. The world is living inside my vibration. Repeat this phrase in the comments to anchor the frequency with intention. By writing it, you are not only affirming it, you are transmitting it into the field right now. Chapter 1: The Hidden Architecture of Reality. Behind the veil of what you call life lies a structure so subtle, so precise that almost no one perceives it, yet it governs everything you experience. Thoth called it the living lattice, an invisible architecture of vibration that surrounds you, flows through you, and responds to the coherence of your mind and heart. This lattice is not metaphor. It is the mirror field of existence, a quantum web that reflects, without mercy and without favoritism, the exact frequency you sustain. Every repeated thought becomes geometry in this field. Every persistent emotion becomes a pattern in the invisible grid. Every belief you accept as true, even in silence, becomes a command that reality is forced to obey. The ancients knew this. That is why initiates were trained to master vibration before they were ever entrusted with knowledge. Hermes Trismegistus described it as the prima materia, the raw essence of creation, formless, fluid, waiting for the alchemical fire of intention to crystallize it into form. And now, modern science begins to confirm what mystery schools carved in stone millennia ago. Neuroscience proves that sustained focus rewires the brain, creating neural circuits that mirror your inner images. Epigenetics shows that beliefs and emotions alter genetic expression and the behavior of cells. Quantum physics reveals that the act of observation collapses probability into reality. Different disciplines, same revelation. Consciousness shapes the field. Vibration builds the world. This means your reality is not random. It is not fate. It is not punishment. It is the echo of your frequency, the reflection of your inner architecture sustained day after day. The good news?
When you change the signal, the lattice has no choice but to reorganize. The lattice reflects what I vibrate. I choose to transmit coherence. Repeat this phrase in the comments to anchor it into the field. Each repetition is not just a comment, it is an intentional broadcast into the invisible architecture that shapes reality.
Chapter 2. The frequency that commands the field. Most people believe they are creating with effort, pushing harder, working longer, struggling against circumstances. But the lattice, the invisible architecture of reality, does not respond to effort. It does not bend to logic. It does not move with empty words. The field responds only to frequency. This is why Thoth taught that thought alone is not enough, and words alone are powerless without vibration. The universe listens not to what you wish for, but to the signal you sustain. If you hold fear in your body, even while speaking of courage, the lattice reflects fear. If you repeat affirmations of abundance, but your heart beats with scarcity, the lattice reflects scarcity. If you declare love with your mouth, but carry resentment in silence, the lattice reflects fragmentation. The Hermetic masters called this the law of vibration. Everything moves, everything resonates, and coherence is the key that unlocks transformation. And modern science confirms it. Heart math research shows that gratitude, compassion, and love create measurable states of cardiac coherence that expand the electromagnetic field around you. Richard Davidson's neuroscience proves that elevated mental states sculpt the prefrontal cortex, enhancing decision, vision, and resilience. Joe Dispenza's experiments reveal that coherent intention changes physiological patterns in real time. The conclusion is undeniable. Your frequency is the only true command. Thoth described this as the fire of the mind, the subtle inner flame that transmutes chaos into order. This flame is not lit by chance. It is ignited when your thought, your emotion, and your body pulse in one direction. When that happens, reality no longer negotiates. The lattice crystallizes your signal into form. This is why two people can stand in the same world, face the same conditions, yet one expands and the other contracts. One attracts synchronicities while the other repeats stagnation. The difference is not luck. It is not destiny. It is frequency sustained with integrity. The universe does not hear my words. It obeys my vibration. Repeat this phrase in the comments to anchor your signal with intention. Every typed word is more than a sentence. It is a broadcast into the quantum field that begins reorganizing reality right now.
Chapter 3. Breaking the Illusion of Effort. Most of humanity has been deceived into believing that reality bends through force. Work harder, struggle more, push against the world, and maybe life will finally reward you. But this is the greatest illusion. The lattice, the invisible quantum field described by Thoth and confirmed now by science, does not respond to exhaustion, nor to effort, nor to control. The mirror field listens only to state, to the frequency you embody consistently. This is why so many remain trapped. They visualize abundance, but vibrate scarcity. They pray for love, but vibrate abandonment. They declare faith, but vibrate fear. And the lattice, faithful and precise, reflects back not what is spoken, but what is sustained in silence. Hermeticism warned us, as within, so without. The ancient alchemists knew that vibration, not force, is the key that reshapes matter. Modern science echoes the same principle. Quantum mechanics reveals that observation, not effort, collapses probability into reality. Neuroscience shows that states of coherence organize the brain into patterns of clarity and resilience. Heart math demonstrates that emotions like gratitude expand measurable fields of harmony, while stress fragments them. The lesson is clear. The universe is not impressed by how much you sweat, struggle, or fight. The field responds only to the frequency you stabilize. And here lies the liberating truth. You do not need to force reality. You need to align with it. You do not need to push harder. You need to vibrate clearer. The one who controls less but sustains coherence commands more. Thoth called this the subtle fire, a flame that doesn't burn outside but transmutes within. It is the fire that melts resistance, dissolves old patterns, and reorganizes your signal into harmony with the field. Once ignited, reality bends without struggle. I no longer force reality, I align, and the field obeys. Repeat this phrase in the comments to anchor the release of control. By writing it, you declare to the lattice that you are done struggling and ready to vibrate in coherence.
Chapter 4. The Symbol and the Signal. Thoth knew a secret that modern seekers have almost forgotten. The mind alone is unstable. Thoughts scatter. Emotions fluctuate. The ordinary human attention jumps from fear to hope, from doubt to desire, and the lattice mirrors this fragmentation with confusion. That is why the ancients gave the initiates a key, the symbol. Sigils, fractals, sacred geometry, alchemical seals. Not decoration, not superstition, but anchors of vibration. Why symbols? Because they speak the language of the unconscious. The conscious mind understands words, but the unconscious, the part that really transmits into the field, understands images, archetypes, geometry, rhythm. A single symbol, contemplated daily with intention, becomes a fixed point of coherence inside the mind. It gathers scattered energy, coagulates loose intention, and directs the frequency into the lattice like a laser. Thoth called this practice fixing the light. To hold one image, one form, one intention with such clarity that it imprints into the mirror field until it descends into matter. Alchemists later describe this as coagula, the process of crystallizing intention. Modern science mirrors the same discovery. Neuroplasticity shows that sustained focus around a single image reconfigures neural pathways. Meditation research reveals that the longer the focus on a sacred image or mantra, the more the brain organizes into coherence. Psychology demonstrates that visual anchors alter perception, mood, and state faster than words alone. So here is your key. Choose one symbol. It can be a sacred geometry, a sigil you draw, a fractal, or even an image that represents the state you want to embody. Carry it with you. Place it where your eyes return throughout the day. Breathe with it. Feel with it. Let it become the bridge between your inner state and the field. Because scattered intention evaporates, but sustained symbolic focus coagulates into form. I fix the light. My symbol anchors my vibration into the field. Repeat this phrase in the comments to seal your anchor. By writing it, you are not only declaring your intention, you are transmitting a geometric command into the lattice, aligning thought, emotion, and field.
Chapter 5. The Night Gate. There is a doorway you cross every single night, yet almost no one uses it consciously. The ancients called it the reverse portal.
the hidden gate between worlds. Modern science calls it the alpha zone, the brief, fertile state between wakefulness and sleep when the rational mind loosens its grip and the subconscious becomes wide open. Thoth and the initiates knew. What you impress into this gate does not fade. It is planted into the lattice as living code. In this sacred threshold, the mind stops resisting, the body softens, and the field listens without filters. Whatever frequency you sustain in these final moments of the day becomes the geometry that tomorrow will mirror back to you. This is why ancient Egypt practiced nocturnal rituals. Disciples were trained to enter sleep not with scattered thoughts, but with intention, image, and emotion aligned. They understood that the night was not for forgetting, it was for programming reality. And today, neuroscience confirms it. In the hypnagogic state, the brain enters alpha and theta waves, directly imprinting memories and emotions into the subconscious. Studies show that affirmations or visualizations repeated before sleep bypass the critical filter of the conscious mind and install new patterns. The HeartMath Institute proves that emotions like gratitude and love carried into sleep radiate measurable coherence through the night. This is why your late-night worries manifest as repeated problems, and why your late-night gratitude manifests as synchronicities. The field does not rest. It listens even when you sleep. Here is the ritual Thoth encoded, simplified for you. The 3-minute night gate practice. 1 sentence, the intention you choose. 1 image, your symbol, your sacred anchor. 1 emotion, felt as real, here and now. 3 minutes before you surrender to sleep, breathe, repeat, and feel. That is enough. The field records. The lattice reorganizes. Reality shifts silently from within. Because the night is not absence. It is creation. It is the unseen workshop of your soul. As I sleep, the field listens. I plant my vibration into the night gate. Repeat this phrase in the comments to seal your intention. By doing this, you are no longer falling asleep unconsciously. You are entering the portal as a creator, transmitting directly into the lattice.
Chapter 6. The 9 Nights of Transmutation. The ancients knew reality does not change in an instant. It changes through rhythm. Not through chance, not through effort, but through the law of cycles. And among all cycles, one number was feared and revered as the threshold of transformation: 9. In Egypt, the Ennead, the council of 9 deities, represented the powers that shaped existence. In Norse tradition, Odin hung for 9 nights on the world tree to awaken to hidden wisdom. In numerology, 9 is the number of completion, the seal of one cycle, and the birth of another. That is why Thoth revealed, if you want the lattice to reorganize, you must sustain your frequency through 9 consecutive nights. Not because of superstition, but because the field recognizes closure. 9 nights of coherence are enough to close the geometry of the old pattern and ignite the seed of the new. Modern science, once again, shadows this wisdom. Sleep research shows that emotions carried into the hypnagogic state consolidate powerfully in memory. Neuroplasticity demonstrates that even brief but repeated practices create structural change in brain networks. Epigenetics confirms that emotional repetition rewires the body's expression. Each night becomes a portal.
Night 1 through 3, the body begins to release old imprints. Night 4 to 6, the heart sustains coherence and stabilizes the signal. Nights 7 through 9, the mind, body, and field converge. The new vibration anchors into the lattice. This is not superstition. It is applied rhythm, the cosmic law of closure and rebirth. For 9 nights, I sustain the fire, and the field sustains me. Repeat this phrase in the comments to seal your pact. Each repetition is more than words. It is an act of transmutation, a conscious declaration that for 9 nights your vibration will command the lattice. Chapter 7: The Point of No Return. There comes a moment in the path of coherence when something irreversible happens. At first, the practice feels fragile, a spark easily extinguished by doubt, fear, or distraction. But if the fire is sustained through breath, symbol, and intention, the day arrives when the lattice bends and does not return to its old form. Thoth called this threshold the unifying fire, the moment when thought, emotion, and body no longer move in separate directions, but pulse as a single current of energy. In that alignment, the field has no choice. Reality ceases to resist and begins to obey because you are no longer a fragmented signal. You have become coherence itself. Science is now touching this sacred point. Heart-brain coherence studies show that once the nervous system locks into rhythm, the electromagnetic field extends outward in stable harmony. Neuroscience proves that repeated focus strengthens neural networks until the new state becomes the default baseline of perception. Quantum physics suggests that sustained observation fixes probability into form with mathematical precision. This is why synchronicities begin to multiply, why old patterns dissolve without struggle, why healing accelerates, ideas align, and opportunities converge. It is not luck, it is not magic, it is the mathematics of vibration. And here lies the true freedom. Once you cross this point of no return, you are no longer just reacting to the world, you are transmitting into it. You are not a receiver waiting for circumstances. You are a transmitter shaping circumstance itself. The Hermetic tablets warned, when the soul vibrates in unity, matter has no choice but to serve. And now, you are beginning to live this truth. I have crossed the point of no return from receiver to transmitter. Repeat this phrase in the comments to anchor the crossing. By declaring it, you acknowledge that you are no longer waiting for reality. You are commanding the lattice with coherence. Chapter 8: The Final Integration, the Activation. Every transmission leads here. All the symbols, the breath, the coherence, the nights of practice, they converge into a single realization. You are not inside reality. Reality is inside you. This is the secret that Thoth sealed in the Emerald Tablets, the hidden law that Hermeticism guarded for centuries. The soul acts upon matter through vibration. And now you feel it in your body, not as theory, but as living fire. Because you are no longer a fragmented signal. You are no longer scattered thought, broken emotion, or reactive body. You are coherence, a transmitter, a conscious vibration moving through the lattice. And in that state, reality has no option but to mirror your frequency. The old cycle is complete. The new signal is sustained. You have crossed the threshold. This is the true magnum opus, not turning lead into gold, but turning noise into signal,
fear into alignment, reaction into creation. And here is the activation. Stand in silence for a moment. Breathe into your chest. Feel the pulse of your heart. Realize that every beat is an echo in the field, every breath a signal, every thought a spark. You are no longer waiting for reality. You are commanding it. Now, seal this moment with a declaration that becomes both your mantra and your signature in the field. I fix the light. I become the field. Repeat this phrase in the comments with full intention. By writing it, you do more than type words. You transmit a vibrational command into the lattice. Each repetition strengthens the collective signal we are weaving here, turning this very community into a living field of coherence.